Content warning. The following episode contains scenes of graphic sexual violence. Discretion advised.
Calaroga Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Murder Weekly. This episode is titled The South Shore Murders.
The thick fog rolled in from the Great South Bay, swallowing the secluded beach in an eerie shroud. A lone figure emerged from the tree line, dragging something heavy across the damp sand. "We've got another one." Detective Sam Wilkins squinted at the body crumpled in a patch of high grass, illuminated by the harsh crime scene lights. His partner, Detective Maria Delgado, stood over the half-naked corpse, face too swollen and disfigured to identify. "Beaten, strangled, and stripped from the waist down just like the others," Delgado said grimly. "I'd wager our sicko friend added another prostitute to his list." Sam cursed under his breath. This made victim number 4 in the past 2 months. Some twisted psychopath was hunting streetwalkers and escorts operating in the area around Sayville and the South Shore beaches. He crouched down beside the body for a closer look. The remnants of what was once an expensive silk teddy clung to the woman's torso. This was no common streetwalker. As he leaned in, a rancid whiff of stale alcohol and cigarette smoke hit his nostrils. "Get the ME over here," Sam barked to one of the uniformed officers. "See if they can get a time of death based on body temp and rate of decomposition." He knew the drill by now. The killer always waited at least 24 hours before discarding the bodies, meaning this poor woman could have been abducted, brutalized, and murdered as recently as yesterday evening. As the coroners began their preliminary analysis, Sam stepped away to take a call coming in on his cell from a blocked number. "Detective Wilkins," he answered gruffly. "Oh God, oh God." The voice on the other end was barely a tremulous whisper. "Please, you have to help me." Sam's instincts immediately kicked in. He waved Delgado over, gesturing for her to be silent. "Ma'am, I need you to stay calm and tell me your name and location right now." I think he's going to kill me next," the woman gasped between sobs. He said I've been bad and need to be punished like the others." A chill shot down Sam's spine. This was no prank caller. It was the latest would-be victim contacting him directly. "Who did? Who are you talking about, ma'am? I need you to give me details." There was a harrowing pause and the sound of heavy breathing. Finally, the chilling reply. The trick killer. He comes to us pretending to be a client, but once we're alone, he turns into a monster." Sam's gut twisted at the macabre moniker. The press would have a field day once this leaked. "I'm an escort. I go by the name Jade," the woman sniffled. "Please, if you can trace this call, send help right away before—" Her voice was abruptly cut off by a loud crash and unmistakable sounds of a violent struggle breaking out. Sam felt his blood run cold. Jade, tell me where you are right now." After several agonizing seconds of silence, an automated voice cut in with an address. 514 Harbor View Lane, West Sayville. Sam didn't need to hear another word. He was already racing toward his car, barking orders into his radio as Delgado sprinted behind him. The high-pitched scream of tires preceded their roar of their siren as the unmarked cruiser fishtailed out of the beach access road toward the residential neighborhood. At the address, an unassuming single-story ranch house, they took up positions on either side of the front door, weapons drawn. Another woman's blood-curdling scream echoed from within the home, spurring them into action. "West Sayville Police, come out with your hands up immediately!" Only an eerie silence answered from the other side of the door, until another agonized cry shot through the air. With a nod to his partner, Sam reared back and kicked in the door with all his might. A ghastly scene awaited them in the dimly lit living room. Jade, a petite redhead wearing a black lace teddy, was cowering against the wall, hands shielding her bloody, battered face. In the center of the room loomed a hulking man, bald man in his 40s, with wild, raging eyes and a sleeveless shirt that strained against his muscular frame. In one hand he clutched a wicked-looking hunting knife, in the other a fistful of Jade's hair as he hauled her up off the ground to dangle before him. "You bitches just never learn," he roared, spittle flying as he raised the blade toward her slender neck. "Time for another whore to face her punishment. Freeze! Drop the weapon now!" Sam's voice cracked through the chaos with an unmistakable tone of authority. For a split second, the man's beady eyes locked onto the detective's. A cruel smirk twisted his lips as he opened his mouth to respond, only to be cut off as Delgado's service weapon barked twice with deafening retorts. The killer's entire body jolted violently as the double-tap 9mm slugs tore through his broad chest. A spray of crimson erupted from the twin wounds as he crumpled to the floor. Jade collapsed against the wall, gasping in shock and terror as Sam quickly swept forward to subdue the suspect. But he needn't have bothered. The man was already motionless in a rapidly spreading pool of viscera, his final twisted expression locked in a grimace of agony. Delgado rushed to the escort's side as she radioed for EMTs. Sam had no need to check the suspect for signs of life. One look at the nightmare scene told him all he needed to know. The infamous trick killer was no more, but the horror was only just beginning. Over the next 24 hours, the full depravity of their suspect slowly materialized through his sickening confessions and evidence gathered from his unassuming home. The deceased was identified as Terence Gallagher, a 48-year-old divorced banker and outwardly respected family man who concealed a sadistic hatred towards sex workers behind his clean-cut facade. After his bitter divorce 5 years prior, the result of his wife discovering his secret prostitute addiction that drained their fortune, an already unstable Gallagher had snapped. He began coldly murdering the very same whores he pathetically relied upon, satisfying his violent misogynistic urges through a spree of abductions, torture, and staged deaths designed to punish his victims. In the end, forensic evidence from Gallagher's home and vehicle matched him to at least 9 other open cases of murdered prostitutes across Long Island. A staggering realization that made it clear this unassuming middle-aged man was likely one of the region's most prolific serial killers in recent memory. By the time his remains were carted away in a body bag, both Sam and Delgado were emotionally drained and sickened to their core, once again reminded that true evil often goes undetected behind the most mundane of facades. All they could do was take solace in the fact that this particular monster could brutalize no more in this lifetime.
Murder Weekly is a Calaroga Shark media production. Written and hosted by Aidan I. Flanagan. Produced by Mark Francis. Executive producers, Mark Francis and John McDermott. Portions of this podcast may have been created with the assistance of AI.
This show, along with hundreds of others from Calaroga Shark Media, is available commercial-free on any player, hassle-free. Just look for the link in the episode or show notes.
Murder Weekly now has merch. Find shirts, mugs, and more with the Murder Weekly logo for sale at our merch store. There's free shipping and 10% off now with the coupon NEWMERCH10. Did we mention there's free shipping? Check out all the goods at calaroga.com, that's CALOROGA.com, or just look for the link in the show notes. Thanks for supporting the show. We really appreciate it.
Calaroga Shark Media.